Hey, this is Irvin Griffin, and I gotta say, man, I swear, women, especially black women, are basically going to the grave of Kevin Samuels, pulling down their drawers, and basically urinating and defecating all over it since his death. Now, recently, Lisa Ray was on Claudia Jordan's show along with Vivica A. Fox. And Vivica A. Fox is actually the subject here. And some other, I think her name was Celine Johnson. The only chicks I know on that whole 4-woman thing was Lisa Ray and Vivica A. Fox. But Vivica's the one that's getting the most, shall we say, heat right now for comments made about Kevin Samuels. Now, like I've said in a couple of other videos, I was not a fan. And everything he is saying, I have heard a million times from a million other black YouTubers. But at the same time, for black women to be acting like, oh, this is karma. He was spewing hate. He was going in on black women. Basically, I'm going to show you the clips of mainly Vivica and Lisa Ray. But you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go ahead and show the respective clips of what each woman had to say. And quite frankly, I found problems with all 4, but especially Vivica and the host herself. Anyway, take a listen.
He posted this message on Instagram. Love him or hate him, he spoke his truth. We can view truth as hate, but sometimes his bold medicine didn't taste so sweet. And if you hated, why tune in? Why call in? Because healing comes in many forms. His was some nasty ass tasting medicine. He continued with, there's no right and wrong in this love, S-H-I-T. There's just discovery. And thank you for those you healed. And we forgive you if there are any damages because we know your intentions were to heal. Ladies, what are your thoughts on Marlon's post? And were you shocked when you heard about Kevin Samuels' death? Vivica, let's start with you because you seem to be having quite a reaction to this.
Well, me and Lisa Ray both had the whole side eye. Like, what the hell? Is he kidding me? Healing? Healthy? This man was a hypocrite, in my honest opinion. He really was. I didn't find anything about him to be healing. He insulted African-American women on a consistent basis. One of his last statements that he said was that if you're over 38 and you haven't married or something like that, that you're no good and disposable. To me, it was a shock jock. And, I hope this is teaching folks a lesson about the karma that you put out, the negativity that you put out in the world, that when karma comes knocking at your door, she might not be so kind. So, the fact that he killed over real quick and was supposedly with a woman that we don't yet know the nationality, rest in peace.
You know what? I will say this. I like Marlon's response a little bit, half of it, because it was very grown up. And it was very in the middle-ish because he wanted to pay homage to him. And at the same time, giving him an excuse and an out to be able to say, well, maybe his truth helped some people. It was a little brash, but hey, that was his way. We do know for sure and certain that social media made him this breakout, social Instagram famous person. You know what I mean? But I agree with Vivica. I think that sometimes when you are trying to help, it got to come in a kind of way because we're your kind. We are your type, meaning we're black. You know what I mean? And we are family. You know what I mean? So when you talk to us, because we as a race have been through so much, and it's almost like talking to us like this does not help us even listen and hear you. I didn't really follow him, and I didn't really watch him a lot because when I did sometime, I liked the way he looked. You know what I mean? But then when I turned the volume up, I kept turning it down. You know what I mean? He just looked debonair and he looked like, oh, okay, let me listen to the brother. But once I did not like all of the commentary that he had to say. So absolutely, rest in peace. You know, it was sudden. We didn't expect it. And, you know, I don't wish this on anyone, and my condolences to his family.
Okay, so first of all, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. You know, I don't want to speak negatively on the deceased, but let's just be honest. Kevin Samuels consistently shook the table. Okay. And I feel like the word healing is the fool in a way, because I think, you know, I'm just, yeah, rest in peace. But that's the fool. To say healing is the fool. I think that he was more, his words were more traumatizing as opposed to healing. I don't think that anything that he said invoked healing. Now, maybe opened up some eyes, you know, enlightened. Yes. You know, again, shook the table. Yes. Started conversations. Yes. But healing, I would not use that word. And I think I have to agree with Lisa Ray on this too, because I think that, you know, maybe Marlon was just trying to, you know, find some light in this dark tunnel. But it's unfortunate how he passed. I hate that he did, you know, even though I did not like the things that he said at all. And in my Lisa Ray voice, at all. I do understand where Marlon is trying to come from, but the word healing is a bit much and could possibly be kind of offensive in a way, because, you know, to the women who were actually on his show and he spoke those words, he spewed that venom towards, I don't think that they would think that they were healed when they left the show. They might have even had to go see a therapist after talking to him. Yeah. So, I don't agree with the basis, you know, a lot of the stuff he said, but I do understand what he was maybe trying to do. But rest in peace overall.
I just because someone passes on, it doesn't mean we just, now we can't say anything negative or honest about you. That's okay, you died. Guess what? Every single person in all these squares and everybody watching is gonna die. So we can't be held accountable for the things that we said while we were alive. Listen, I think he had some very valid points. I think people are very unrealistic about relationships. I think a lot of women and a lot of men are. It's not a woman thing and it's not a man thing. But he just so happened to pop when he started coming for Black women, because he did start off being negative towards Black men, and people weren't really trying to hear that. Brothers weren't trying to hear about themselves, but what they were trying to hear about was how it's the women's fault.
Interesting.
So then he blew up, and then our dumbasses went and supported him. You know what I mean? And then he made, I heard, like up to $3 million off of his YouTube and all that from said Black women. So I think, again, I think there is a place for people like Kevin Samuels to say, listen, you're being unrealistic. You have nothing you're bringing to the table, and you want this high value man, although Kevin Samuels himself was not a high value man while you playing, okay? He just, you know, he looked the part. And
you're not even playing. Yeah, you're not even.
Now, before I say what I'm going to say, let me say everybody's entitled to their opinions and viewpoints. One thing I try to do before I speak on anything, I try to do some research first before I talk about it. All four of these women, particularly Vivica, and I have to say the host of this show, Claudia Jordan, they are particularly in their feelings. The only one that maybe has some right to say anything of these four is Selena Johnson, because actually, yes, I did do some looking up on her. She's the only one of this bunch that's actually married. I mean, Vivica, we know she's tried and failed over the years, and you know what? It can't be all the guy's fault, because I'm sorry, if a woman of any race, and by the way, may I say on Kevin Samuels' part, I didn't care for the guy personally, but let me say this. He didn't go in on just Black women. It's just the Black women tirades are the ones he's most known for. Plus, let me point out, he did not make any of those women call his show. They called in on their own and tried to go up there and talk crass rather than have an actual conversation with the man. So a lot of those rants, they brought on themselves, to be honest. Now, Lisa Ray, she probably had the one that I was almost be like, okay, she all right. But then she had to say about how they need to be more gentle, with us because we're our own. Says who? Says who? So in other words, if he was saying the same stuff, but it was a bunch of white women he was saying it to, y'all wouldn't have nothing to say. But because it was black women, y'all in y'all's feelings. Got news for you. He went in on them too. He went in on men too, particularly black men. Got news for you. He did. And says who? Says who? Isn't that the same mindset of white nationalists and stuff? You don't do that to your own. No, if crap needs to be called out, it needs to be called out, no matter who it is. And Kevin Samuels never said, well, he's talking about a high value man when he wasn't one. He may not have been a multi-millionaire, but last I checked, he lived in Buckhead. And according to my girlfriend, Regina, Buckhead, and I knew a little bit about Buckhead in Atlanta, Georgia before I started dating her. But from what I've heard from her and from what I've seen, it don't look like you can't be no thousandaire. You better be upper thousands, probably upper hundreds of thousands, if not millions, to live there. Buckhead is not cheap. So he may not have been this multi-millionaire, but I doubt he was broke. And by the way, on the side note to that story that talked about he only had $1,000 in his bank account, how did they know this? How did they get legal right to go into his bank account? Which I'm not so sure some charges shouldn't be brought up there, because unless you got some kind of legal permission or something to do that, how are you going to get a hold of what somebody has in their bank? It seems like everybody's coming out to drop trowel and let loose their excrement all over this man's grave. I mean, I didn't see this much outrage over Bishop Eddie Long. Yeah, I'm going there. I don't care if he was a bishop. And he did stuff that was far more questionable than Kevin Samuels, who only had an opinion. Yeah, I didn't care for the way he expressed it personally, but he only had an opinion. This other dude was allegedly trying to sleep with underage boys and all kinds of stuff. But we'll turn a blind eye and excuse it. Oh, God forgives. God forgives. I like to super kick people that do that and their teeth down their throat, man. For real. And those RIPs from all four of these women was so fake. It was so phony. I mean, I would have had more respect for them if they would have just said how they really feel. If they would have just came out and just said, this broke ass, trash ass Samuels, fuck that birthed him, for walking this earth, him for putting down black women, he can kiss my ass and I hope he ain't resting in peace. Yeah, you probably just heard a lot of foghorns just now, but honestly, I would have had more respect for those women if they would have did that. It would have been disgusting, but I would have had more respect for them if they did that than that for, oh, rest in peace. But, sounds so fake. I've seen wrestling matches that weren't this fake. I've seen movies and TV shows that didn't feel this fake. Oh my God. They obviously never really watched their shows. And as far as him getting on because he was talking about the black women, well, that's sometimes how it is. He did talk about men, and he did talk about other races too, dating across the board. But unfortunately, his tirades with black women who, again, called into his show to try to beef with him when they were asking the question, but they were just blowing him off, ignoring him, they got what they got. I just never, but I'm not going to go off with praise telling him, yeah, R.I.P. to the Godfather. Like, he ain't my Godfather. He was just another dude on YouTube talking his talk. He just managed to do it get it to a higher level than most of those other cats. That's the only difference. To me, he was just talking his talk, but he wasn't talking to me, so I didn't, pay him much mind. And those that he wasn't talking to didn't pay him no mind at all. The only ones that were butthurt were the cats that he was talking about. As my girlfriend likes to say, and as I've heard other people say too, hurt dogs holler. So it is what it is. Leave your comments down in the comment section. I'm out.